Ethan lived alone in a small, quiet apartment on the edge of the city. His days were usually calm and predictable. He worked as a young scientist, studying stars and planets from his tiny home laboratory. Outside, the world was noisy and busy, but inside, everything felt peaceful. Ethan liked it that way. He liked order and quiet. But tonight, everything was about to change. It was just after dinner when he heard a soft knock on his door. He frowned. Who would come by at this hour? No one in the building ever visited. Slowly, he walked to the door and looked through the peephole. He could hardly believe his eyes. Standing on the doorstep was a tiny girl no bigger than a toddler. But she was not human. Her skin glowed faintly like soft moonlight, and her large, round eyes shined in shades of green and blue. Tiny wings rested gently on her back, shimmering in colors he could not name. She looked scared and fragile, and yet there was a quiet strength in her gaze. Ethan opened the door carefully. "Hello? Can I help you?" he asked, his voice gentle but cautious. The little girl took a tiny step forward, clutching a small, glowing crystal to her chest. Her voice was soft and trembling. My mom died today. Can I stay with you, human?" Ethan froze. The words sounded so small and fragile, yet filled with deep sadness. He felt a sudden rush of warmth and concern. The child before him, no matter how small or strange, was asking for safety, for care, for family. "Wait. What?" he said softly, kneeling down to meet her eye level. "Your mom died? I don't understand. Where is your home?" The little girl's lips quivered. "I am from Kalira, my mom. She is gone. I have nowhere, no one." She whispered the last words, almost afraid they would vanish into the air. Ethan hesitated. He had never seen anything like her. He had studied alien species in books and on his computer, but nothing had prepared him for this. And yet, looking at her tiny, trembling form, he could not turn her away. "Okay," he said finally, taking a deep breath. "Come inside. We'll figure this out together." Her eyes brightened a little. She floated forward almost gracefully as Ethan guided her into his apartment. He noticed the little sounds she made, soft humming, like a lullaby, almost musical, in tone. It filled the room with a strange but pleasant energy. "Do you eat?" Ethan asked cautiously, pointing to the kitchen. The girl nodded. "Yes, I eat, but not like humans. Small food, tiny taste." She floated closer to the counter, curious about everything she saw. Her eyes widened at the shining fridge, the stovetop, and the little plants on the windowsill. Ethan smiled. "All right, let's find something small for you." He gave her a tiny piece of bread and some water. She touched it delicately, as if it were precious, and nibbled carefully. As she ate, she told him her name. "I am Leary." "Leary," Ethan repeated, trying to remember it. "I'm Ethan. Nice to meet you, Leary." She looked at him, eyes full of wonder. You are human?" "Yes," Ethan said with a small laugh. "I am. I live here alone. But now, I guess I'm not alone anymore." Leary's small hand reached out, brushing his fingers. I like humans. Sometimes." Ethan felt a strange warmth in his chest. This tiny alien, who had lost her mother, had chosen to trust him. It was incredible. The night passed slowly. Leary floated around the apartment, examining everything with curiosity. She could sense emotions, Ethan realized, because every time he felt anxious or unsure, she seemed to calm down and look at him with soft understanding. You feel sad," she said suddenly, her voice quiet but certain. "Why, humans cry?" Ethan thought for a moment. "Sometimes crying helps. It helps you feel better when something hurts." She nodded slowly. I I cry sometimes too, but it does not stop sadness. Ethan reached out and gently took her tiny hand. Maybe it doesn't stop it completely, but it can help. And sometimes, having someone with you helps even more. Leary smiled faintly. It was a tiny smile, almost invisible, but Ethan noticed it immediately. For the first time since she arrived, she looked a little lighter, a little less sad. As the night grew deeper, Ethan set up a small bed for Leary. It was a soft box with blankets, just big enough for her tiny frame. She climbed in carefully, folding her wings around herself. Will you stay with me?" she asked, looking at him with hopeful eyes. Ethan nodded. "Yes, you can stay with me. We'll figure everything out together. You're safe here." She closed her eyes, and soon her soft humming filled the room. It was soothing, like the quiet of the stars he had studied all his life. Ethan sat back in his chair, looking at the tiny alien sleeping peacefully. He realized something profound. Humans had a gift, the ability to care, to protect, to comfort. And right now, that gift was what mattered most. Outside, the city lights flickered in the distance. Stars twinkled above, distant and silent. Inside, a human and a tiny alien shared the quiet, fragile beginnings of a new friendship, a new family. For Ethan, this night marked the start of something incredible. He didn't know the future, didn't know what challenges would come. But he knew one thing. He would protect Leary, and together they would face whatever the universe had in store. And for Leary, who had lost her mother and her home, this human, strange, kind, and gentle, was the first spark of hope she had felt in a long time. The night passed quietly, with soft hums and whispered words. Outside, the world continued, unaware of the small miracle unfolding in a tiny apartment. Inside, the universe felt just a little closer, and hearts, no matter how different, began to beat together. The next morning, sunlight filtered softly through the apartment windows. Ethan was already awake, preparing a small breakfast. Leary, the tiny alien girl, was sitting on the edge of her little bed, blinking her glowing eyes slowly as she watched him move around the kitchen. "Good morning," Ethan said gently, placing a tiny plate of toast and a small dish of fruit in front of her. "Did you sleep well?" Leary nodded, her wings fluttering slightly. I slept. It was quiet." "I like quiet," Ethan smiled. "Yes, quiet can be nice, but today we will start learning about each other." Leary tilted her head. "Learn? About what?" Ethan chuckled softly. "About humans. About me. And about you, too. Living together is not easy. But I think we can try." Leary's eyes sparkled with curiosity. She floated a little above her bed, hovering as she listened carefully. I want to learn." Breakfast was simple, but it was an important first step. Ethan taught Leary how to use utensils. She laughed when she dropped the tiny fork, and Ethan laughed too. It was a sound that felt like warmth, a sound that made Leary feel safe for the first time since her mother had died. "Why do humans eat like this?" Leary asked, nibbling carefully on a small piece of toast. "It's how we get energy," Ethan explained. "Food helps our bodies and brains work, and we enjoy it too." Leary's wings fluttered. "Interesting. We Calirians eat energy differently. We absorb sunlight, small sparks from the stars." She looked thoughtful. "It does not taste like bread, but it gives strength." Ethan nodded, fascinated. "I'd love to see that someday. Maybe you can show me." After breakfast, Ethan guided Leary to his home laboratory. It was small but filled with gadgets, glowing screens, and charts of stars and planets. Leary's eyes widened as she looked around. This is amazing, she said softly. All these tools, they help. You understand universe? Yes, Ethan said. I study stars, planets, sometimes distant galaxies. I try to understand what is out there, and sometimes I even try to imagine other life, like yours. Leary floated closer to a glowing star map. Other life, you think, like me? Ethan nodded. Yes, you are living proof. He smiled gently. And now, you will help me understand even more. Over the next few hours, Leary showed Ethan some of her alien abilities. She could sense emotions. When Ethan felt nervous about teaching her, she reached out with her tiny hand and gently touched his arm. Suddenly, he felt calmer, more confident. I feel your feelings, Leary said quietly. You are worried, but kind. I like kind humans. Ethan was amazed. That's incredible. You can sense emotions? Yes. We can, a little. We feel, happiness, sadness, danger sometimes. She looked at him seriously. You are safe. For now. They also discovered she could float and move without touching the ground. Leary laughed as she hovered in circles around the room. Ethan laughed too, clapping his hands in delight. You are like a little star, he said. Glowing and floating, it's wonderful. Leary's eyes sparkled. I like you, human. You, not scared. You, help me. The day passed slowly, filled with small lessons and discoveries. Leary learned about human words, numbers, and objects. She was especially fascinated by books and music. Ethan read stories aloud, and Leary listened, her wings flickering gently to the rhythm of his voice. Humans can be very strange, Leary said one time, tilting her head. But you are good, like Mom sometimes. Ethan's heart ached at the words. Thank you, Leary. That means a lot. He realized that even in loss, love could exist again. Even from a different world, a tiny alien could teach him something important about caring. In the afternoon, Ethan took Leary to the small balcony outside. The city stretched below them, noisy and bustling. Cars moved, people walked, lights flashed. Leary watched carefully, her eyes wide. This world is busy, she whispered. How humans live here? Ethan smiled. We find ways to keep going. We work, we laugh, we care for each other. And sometimes, we help those who cannot help themselves. He looked at Leary. That's why you are here, and safe with me. Leary floated closer, resting her tiny hand on his arm. I like this place, like humans. If you stay with me. I will, Ethan said without hesitation. I promise, you're not alone anymore. As evening came, Ethan prepared a small meal for both of them. Leary helped, using her small hands to stir and float things gently. It was a simple routine, but it was the beginning of something new. A human and a tiny alien, sharing food, sharing space, sharing life. After dinner, they sat by the window watching the first stars appear in the night sky. Ethan pointed out constellations, telling Leary stories of brave humans, explorers, and scientists. Leary listened, fascinated, imagining worlds she had never seen. Humans, you are brave, she said quietly. Even small, even fragile. You try? Always. Ethan nodded. We try, but sometimes we need help too. That's why you and I can learn from each other. Leary smiled softly, leaning against his shoulder. For the first time in days, she felt a sense of peace. She had lost her mother, her home, her world, but here, with this human, she had safety, friendship, and understanding. Ethan felt a quiet joy. He realized that humans were capable of great compassion. They could care for life no matter how different it seemed. And perhaps, through this tiny alien girl, he could learn even more about the universe and about the strength of the human heart. The night ended with soft hums from Leary, glowing faintly in the dark. Ethan watched her sleep, feeling a sense of responsibility and hope. He knew their journey together had only begun. There would be challenges, discoveries, and adventures ahead. But for now, they had each other, and that was enough. Outside, the city lights twinkled, distant and steady. Above, the stars shone, silent witnesses to the beginning of a unique bond between a human and a tiny alien. Inside, hearts beat together, proving that care, kindness, and trust could cross worlds. And for Ethan and Leary, this was only the start of an incredible story, one that would teach them both the power of friendship, learning, and hope in a universe full of possibilities. The morning sun poured through the apartment windows, warming the small space where Ethan and Leary lived. Today felt different. There was a quiet excitement in the air, an energy that made both of them feel that something important was about to happen. "Leary," Ethan said, kneeling to meet her gaze, "I think it's time we try to find your home, or anyone from your world who might still be out there." Leary's tiny wings fluttered nervously. "Home. I do not know if anyone is left. But maybe we can try." Her voice was small but filled with courage. Ethan smiled. "Then we will try together. Don't worry. I will not let anything happen to you." He spent the morning contacting old colleagues and scientists who specialized in alien life. With careful words, he explained Leary's situation and the importance of finding other Calirians. Messages were sent across networks designed to reach deep space, to any listening stations, and even to interstellar explorers who had visited distant worlds. Leary watched silently, floating near the glowing screens. Her eyes glimmered as she tried to understand the technology Ethan was using. "So, humans, you can talk across the stars?" "Yes," Ethan said. "We can send signals far, far away. Sometimes, those signals can reach other life. Maybe someone from your world will hear us." Hours passed, but no response came. Leary's small shoulders drooped. "Maybe it is too late. Maybe." "Everyone is gone." Ethan reached out, holding her tiny hand. "We can't give up yet. Even if it's late, we must try. And we have something most people do not. We have each other." She looked up at him, eyes shining with gratitude. You are kind, human. Thank you." Then, as if answering her hope, a faint signal appeared on one of Ethan's instruments, a soft, pulsing rhythm of energy that was not from Earth. Leary's eyes widened immediately. That is from my people?" Ethan studied the readings. "I think it could be. It's weak, but it's there. Someone, somewhere, is out there." Leary floated higher, wings flickering with excitement. We must go. Find them. Maybe someone survived." Ethan nodded. He began planning carefully. "We need a safe way to travel. You are very small and space is dangerous. But I think I can build something. A small spacecraft for us, fast and safe." For the next 2 days, Ethan worked tirelessly. He gathered parts from his laboratory, modified tools, and constructed a tiny ship that could carry both him and Leary. It was not large, but it had life support, navigation systems, and shields to protect them from cosmic hazards. Leary helped in small ways, floating near him and using her abilities to test energy flows and balance. "This is amazing," she said, circling the half-built ship. "Humans, you can make so many things." Ethan smiled, brushing back a strand of hair from his forehead. "We try, but your abilities help too. I could not do this alone." Finally, the ship was ready. Ethan and Leary packed small supplies, food for him, energy crystals for her, and communication devices. As they prepared to leave, Leary looked back at the apartment. I will miss this place. My safe place." Ethan knelt beside her. "We'll come back, and no matter what happens, this place will always be your home." With a gentle, Leary floated into the ship. Ethan followed, and they sealed the small hatch. The engine glowed softly, lights flickering across the controls. Outside, the city sparkled like a field of stars, and beyond it, the real stars waited. The ship lifted off smoothly, leaving Earth behind. Leary pressed her tiny hands against the glass, watching as her home planet became smaller and smaller. It is beautiful," she whispered. Ethan glanced at her, smiling. "Yes, it is. And there's more out there. More worlds, more life, and maybe your people." Days passed in the silence of space, broken only by the quiet hum of the ship and the occasional comment from Leary. She pointed out distant lights, strange clouds of energy, and twinkling stars, naming them with soft, musical tones. Ethan recorded everything, fascinated by her observations. "This is my first journey like this," she said one night. I have never been so far. It feels scary, but exciting." Ethan nodded. "Space can be scary, but it can also teach us courage, patience, and hope." One day, as they passed through a dense asteroid field, a sudden vibration shook the ship. Ethan's hands moved quickly over the controls, steering them safely between the massive rocks. Leary's wings beat rapidly, and her tiny hands glowed faintly as if lending energy to the ship. You helped me," Ethan said, amazed. "I helped, but humans are clever," she said softly. "You saved us." After passing the asteroids, they entered a strange glowing nebula. Light shimmered in colors neither of them had seen before. Ethan adjusted the instruments, scanning for any signals. Leary's eyes glowed brighter. "Something is here. I feel life close." Ethan followed the readings, and there it was. A faint but clear energy signal, pulsing like a heartbeat. Leary gasped. It is them! Someone survived!" Ethan smiled. "Then we're close. Get ready. We may finally find your people, or at least a safe place to start." As they approached the source, a small, damaged Calirian ship appeared in the distance. It hovered near a tiny planet, its energy flickering. Leary's wings fluttered with hope and fear. They are here. Maybe someone is alive." Ethan prepared the ship for a careful landing, guiding them toward the damaged vessel. Leary held her tiny hands together, whispering words in her native language. The lights on the Calirian ship flickered in response, almost as if recognizing her presence. Ethan looked at her. "Whatever happens, we are together. We will face it, like we always have." Leary smiled faintly. "Yes, together." As the two ships drew closer, the universe around them seemed to hold its breath. A human and a tiny alien had crossed the vast emptiness of space, guided by hope, curiosity, and trust. And now, at the edge of a strange planet, they were about to discover whether Leary's home, her family, her world, still had anyone left. For Ethan, the adventure was more than science. It was proof that humans could reach beyond themselves, showing courage, kindness, and care across the stars. For Leary, it was proof that even in loss, hope could exist, and that sometimes help could come from the most unexpected place, a human heart. Ethan guided the small ship carefully toward the damaged Calirian vessel. Leary floated beside him, wings fluttering with excitement and anxiety. The closer they got, the more fragile the alien ship appeared. Its glowing hull flickered weakly, and soft sparks of energy escaped from small cracks. It is very weak," Leary said quietly. They need help." Ethan nodded. "We will help them. Stay calm, Leary. Follow my lead." The two ships moved slowly, side by side. Ethan activated a gentle docking sequence. The engines hummed steadily, and with a soft click, the ships connected. He opened the small hatch and extended a ladder. Leary floated first, peering into the Calirian vessel. Inside, the ship was dim and quiet. Broken consoles flashed faintly, and the smell of burnt energy lingered. Ethan's eyes scanned the area carefully. "Anyone here?" he called softly. For a moment, there was only silence. Then a faint movement appeared in the corner. A small Calirian child, slightly older. Then Leary emerged, looking frightened and alone. Its eyes widened as it saw Leary, and then slowly, it floated closer. You are safe?" Leary asked gently. The child nodded, trembling. I am alone. My family, gone." It shivered, and Leary's wings wrapped protectively around her. Ethan knelt, holding out his hands. "We will help you. You are not alone anymore." The child floated forward, trusting the human and the tiny alien girl. Ethan guided both of them back to their ship. He adjusted the controls and lifted off slowly, away from the damaged Calirian vessel. Outside, stars stretched endlessly, silent witnesses to the small miracle unfolding inside the tiny ship. For the next several hours, Ethan navigated through space, heading toward a safe region where the Calirian children could rest and heal. Leary floated near the new friend, speaking softly in her language, sharing comfort and warmth. The human child in the ship seemed to relax slowly, sensing Leary's kindness and Ethan's calm presence. It is strange," Leary said, looking at Ethan. "We from different worlds, but we help each other." Ethan smiled. "Yes, humans can do that. We care, even for those who are not like us. And you care too. Together, we are stronger." As they passed through a glowing nebula, a sudden energy storm hit the ship. Bright flashes of light and soft shaking rattled the controls. Ethan's hands moved quickly, adjusting the shields and engines. Leary hovered, her wings glowing faintly, sensing the danger and sending calm energy toward him. You are amazing," Ethan said as the storm subsided. "Your abilities, they help me stay steady." Leary's tiny voice laughed softly. "And you, clever, human, you save us." The storm passed, and they entered a region of quiet stars. Ethan used the opportunity to teach Leary about navigation. "Look at the stars, Leary. We can use them to find directions, to know where we are." Leary floated closer to the glowing controls. "Stars, like my mother's home, beautiful, far." She shivered slightly but smiled. "I like learning from you," Ethan smiled back. "And I like learning from you too. Your world, your senses, your knowledge. It's incredible." As days passed, Ethan and Leary explored strange phenomena in space. They passed sparkling asteroid belts, glowing clouds of gas and tiny planets with soft alien colors. Leary pointed out energy signatures that Ethan had never seen, helping him adjust their route and avoid dangers. You, humans, you study stars. You do not always see what is close, Leary said. I can sense life, energy. You learn fast. Ethan nodded. Yes, humans are clever, but together, with you, we are even better. One night, as they floated, near a distant star, Ethan noticed a soft signal repeating in the distance. Leary, do you feel that? Leary's wings flickered. Yes, it is. Familiar. Calirian energy. Someone is alive. They followed the signal carefully, passing through a sparkling field of cosmic dust. The energy grew stronger, pulsing, like a heartbeat. Leary's small hands glowed faintly, resonating with the signal. They are here. Almost there. Ethan adjusted the ship's controls. Stay close, Leary. We don't know what we will find, but we will face it together. As they approached, a small Calirian settlement appeared on a tiny planet below. It was quiet, damaged, but still holding together. Leary gasped, hovering closer to the window. Home. Maybe home is here. Someone survived. Ethan smiled. Then we've made it. Now we can help, and maybe you can reconnect with your world. Leary floated down to the landing platform, with Ethan and the rescued child following carefully. The air was soft, filled with faint energy currents from the planet. Small Calirian plants glowed gently, lighting their way. It is my home. Small, but safe, Leary whispered, looking around. I feel Mother. Her memory. Here. Ethan knelt beside her. I know it's hard, but even if the past is gone, the future, we can build together. You are not alone anymore. Leary smiled faintly, her wings fluttering softly. Yes. Together. The three of them explored the small settlement, checking for signs of life. Broken energy fields flickered, and damaged structures still held their shape. Ethan helped repair minor systems, while Leary and the little child restored energy flows with their abilities. Slowly, the place began to feel alive again. You, humans? You are amazing, Leary said quietly. Even far, in space, you care, help, protect. I like you more. Every day. Ethan smiled, feeling warmth in his heart. That's humans. We try. And now, you've helped me see how much we can do together. Your courage. Your hope. It inspires me. As night fell over the tiny planet, Ethan, Leary, and the rescued child sat together, watching distant stars. The soft glow of alien flora surrounded them, and the quiet hum of energy filled the air. It is peaceful, Leary said softly. Even after sadness, loss, hope comes again, Ethan nodded. Yes, humans, we can create hope. And together, even across worlds, we can protect it. For Leary, the journey had been long, frightening, and uncertain. But with Ethan, she had learned that even in loss, friendship, courage, and kindness could guide her. For Ethan, the journey had shown that humans could reach beyond themselves, touching hearts across the stars and protecting life, no matter how small or different it seemed. And so, in the quiet of a distant world, a human and two tiny Calirians began to rebuild, learn, and trust, proving that compassion and courage could cross even the vast emptiness of space. The tiny planet was quiet and glowing softly under the light of its distant sun. Ethan guided the small ship carefully down to a flat area near the Calirian settlement. Leary floated beside him, wings flickering with nervous excitement. The rescued child stayed close, trusting the human and Leary completely. It feels like home, Leary whispered, looking at the soft glow of the alien plants. But it is broken, and maybe empty. Ethan nodded. Yes, some things are lost, but maybe not everything. We will look together. You are not alone. The three of them moved through the settlement, scanning for any signs of life. The buildings were damaged but sturdy, glowing faintly as energy flowed weakly through the circuits. Ethan helped Leary repair small systems, reconnecting power conduits and adjusting controls. The little Calirian child watched carefully, learning from both of them. This is strange, Leary said softly. Humans, you can fix things. You do not understand fully, but you try. And it works. Ethan smiled. Humans are good at trying, and when we work together, with others, amazing things can happen. Hours passed, but they found no other Calirians alive. Leary's eyes filled with tears, and she floated down to sit on the soft, glowing ground. Ethan knelt beside her. I thought maybe someone survived, Leary said quietly. But they are gone. Everyone. My mom. Everyone. Ethan reached out, holding her tiny hand. I know. It is hard. Losing someone, losing your home, it hurts. But even when someone is gone, their memory, their love, stays with us. Leary looked at him, her glowing eyes reflecting hope and sorrow. You, humans, you understand. Even without losing what I lost? Yes, Ethan said softly. We try, and I will help you. You are not alone anymore. You have me and your friend here. We can build something new together. Leary floated closer to the small child, wrapping her wings gently around the little one. We can protect each other, make new home. Ethan smiled, realizing that the tiny alien girl was learning an important lesson about courage and adaptation. Humans could face loss, rebuild, and care for one another. And now, Leary was learning the same. They began working to adapt the Calirian settlement for their new life. Ethan repaired energy circuits and shields, making the buildings safe and comfortable. Leary and the rescued child used their abilities to strengthen energy flows, glowing softly as they worked. Together, they made the broken place feel alive again. It is our home now? Leary asked, hovering above the soft ground. Yes, Ethan said. It will be your home, and you can help me make it a safe place for you both. We can learn from each other, humans and Calirians, together. The tiny alien girl smiled faintly, a small but real sign of hope. I like this, even without Mom. I feel safe with you. Ethan knelt beside her, brushing back a tiny strand of glowing hair. And you are safe. You are never alone. That is what humans can do. Care, protect, and love. Days passed, and the new home grew more comfortable. Ethan built small furniture scaled for Leary and the little child. Soft beds, tiny chairs, and glowing lights made the settlement feel welcoming. Leary explored the space, floating from one corner to another, discovering how human ingenuity and Calirian abilities could work together. You humans, clever, Leary said softly. Even far from your world, you help. Create home. Safe, Ethan smiled. Yes, humans are good at caring. And now, we are learning from you too. One evening, as the distant sun set, casting soft colors across the glowing landscape, Leary floated to Ethan. I think I am ready. Ready to live here, learn, and be happy again. Ethan nodded. And I will help you every step of the way. Together, we can make this place a home full of hope. The little Calerian child watched quietly, sensing the bond growing between Ethan and Leary. Slowly, a small smile appeared on its face. They were no longer alone. Even in the vast universe, they had found friendship, care, and trust. Over the next days, Ethan and Leary began exploring ways to improve the settlement. Small gardens were planted, using Calerian energy seeds and human tools. Lights were repaired to glow warmly, and tiny energy shields protected the buildings from cosmic winds. "This is beautiful," Leary whispered, hovering above the glowing plants. "We humans and Calerians, we can make life better together." Ethan smiled. "Yes, that is what humans can do. And now, we have learned even more from each other." One evening, as they rested on the soft ground, Leary whispered, I feel like Mom is proud somewhere, watching us." Ethan nodded. "I believe she is. And she would be happy, seeing you safe, learning and growing. Even when someone is gone, love remains, and hope continues." Leary's wings fluttered softly, and a faint glow filled the air. The tiny alien girl had learned something powerful about resilience, about courage, and about the human heart. She had faced loss and sadness, but she had also found friendship, safety, and family. Ethan watched the two tiny Calerians resting, feeling a quiet pride. Humans were capable of amazing things. They could reach across the stars, care for other life, and create hope where there was none. And now he had learned something too, from these small, brave aliens. Courage, trust, and kindness could be shared across worlds. Night fell over the tiny planet, casting soft shadows and gentle light. Ethan, Leary, and the little Calerian child settled into their new home, surrounded by glowing plants, repaired energy systems, and the quiet hum of life. It is a new beginning," Leary whispered. "Yes," Ethan said softly. "A new beginning. Together." And so, in a quiet, glowing settlement on a distant world, a human and two tiny Calerians began a life full of learning, care, and hope. Even in the face of loss, they proved that friendship and love could create family, no matter the size, shape, or origin of the heart. The tiny planet glowed softly under its distant sun. Ethan, Leary, and the little Calerian child had worked for weeks to restore the settlement. Broken energy flows had been repaired. Small gardens had begun to grow, and the soft hum of life filled the air. The settlement was no longer a place of loss. It was becoming a home. Leary floated above the ground, wings shimmering with soft light. She looked at Ethan, her glowing eyes filled with gratitude. I never thought I could feel hope again, or be happy, without my mom." Ethan knelt beside her. "Sometimes, even when we lose someone we love, we can find new ways to be happy. And sometimes, help can come from the most unexpected place." Leary smiled faintly. "Yes, you humans. You help. Even far away, across stars, you care." Ethan's smile widened. We try, and now, you've helped me too. You've shown me courage, hope, and trust. From a world so far away, the little Calirian child floated near, watching silently. It had learned quickly how humans and Calirians could work together. Its eyes glimmered with excitement and curiosity. Ethan, we fixed things. Small home, safe, Leary said. But Earth, will you come back? Ethan thought for a moment. I can, and I want to. You've given me more than I could imagine. A lesson about hope, courage, and care. I think humans and Calirians can help each other. Leary's wings fluttered rapidly. Yes, together. We can share, teach, help. Ethan nodded. Exactly. And I think it's time to show Earth that life out there, other worlds, can be friends, not threats. That we can care, no matter how different we are. They prepared the small ship for the journey back to Earth. Leary and the child carried tiny energy crystals to sustain them on the long trip, while Ethan checked navigation and life support systems. The settlement glowed softly behind them, alive and peaceful. As they lifted off, Leary pressed her tiny hands against the window, watching her home planet shrink. I will come back, visit, maybe help, protect it again. Ethan smiled. And you can. But now, it's time to share hope with Earth, to show humans what courage and kindness can do across worlds. The journey through space was long but quiet. Ethan guided the ship steadily, teaching Leary about Earth's orbit and stars along the way. The little Calirian child explored the ship curiously, asking questions and learning from both Ethan and Leary. This humans, strong, clever, Leary said one night, glowing softly. Even tiny. We learn from you, and together we make strong. Ethan nodded. Yes, humans are capable of caring, protecting, and learning. And now, you've helped me see that we can reach beyond ourselves and make a difference. After several days, Earth appeared beneath them. The blue and green planet looked peaceful, glowing with sunlight and clouds. Ethan guided the ship, carefully toward his city, knowing they would need to be discreet at first. Landing on a quiet rooftop, Ethan opened the hatch. Leary and the little child floated out, wings flickering softly in the early morning light. The city below stirred, unaware of the small miracle above them. This Earth, beautiful home, Leary whispered. But different. Many humans will be afraid. Ethan nodded. Some may be, but we can show them that humans and Calirians can care for each other, even across worlds. He led them down to his apartment. It had been months since Leary had first arrived, but it was still cozy and safe. Small plants and glowing lights filled the room. The ship's energy crystals hummed softly in a corner. This, safe, again, Leary said. But Earth, humans, must learn. Courage, care, like you. Ethan smiled. Yes, and we will start slowly. We will teach one step at a time. Over the next days, Ethan and Leary reached out to trusted scientists, friends, and colleagues. Carefully, they shared their story, showing the small Calirians and the peaceful energy of their abilities. Humans listened, curious and amazed. They are not dangerous, Ethan said one evening, pointing to Leary and the child. They are kind, intelligent, and they can teach us how to care for life, across worlds, Leary floated beside him, glowing softly. Yes, together. Humans. Calirians. We can share hope and help. The little Calirian child waved at the humans listening, showing small gestures of trust. Slowly, the room filled with a sense of calm and understanding. Humans and Calirians could work together, learn from each other, and protect life, no matter how different it seemed. One morning, Leary stood by the window, looking at the city below. Earth, big. Many humans. Different. But maybe we can help them like they help us. Ethan knelt beside her. Yes, and together, we can show that caring, courage, and kindness are universal, that even across stars, hearts can be friends. Leary smiled faintly. I feel happy, safe, hope, here, with you. Ethan smiled back. And that is what humans do. We care, protect, and love. And now, with you, we can do it across worlds. As days turned into weeks, the small group taught humans about Calirian life, energy, and culture. Leary and the little child explored the city carefully, learning about humans, while Ethan guided the understanding, showing that life, no matter how small or different, could inspire hope. The story of a tiny alien girl, a human, and a lost child from another world spread slowly, showing that humans were capable of compassion and courage beyond imagination. And in every lesson shared, in every heart touched, the universe seemed a little smaller and hope a little brighter. Finally, one evening, as the sun set over the city, Leary floated beside Ethan on the apartment balcony. Her wings glowed softly, reflecting the orange and pink of the sky. Ethan, thank you, human, for everything. For hope, for care, for family. Ethan smiled, gently placing his hand on her tiny shoulder. No, Leary, thank you. You've taught me too, courage, trust, and that even small hearts can shine brightly across the stars. Leary smiled faintly, her tiny wings fluttering. Then, together, we, humans, Calirians, can make universe better, safe, full of hope. Ethan nodded. Yes, together. As night fell over Earth, the stars above twinkled softly. A human and two tiny Calirians stood together, proving that friendship, courage, and care could cross worlds, bridge differences, and create hope for every life, no matter how small or distant. And so, in a quiet city on Earth, a new family was born, united by kindness, bravery, and the belief that the universe could be a place of friendship, learning, and light. The adventure had ended, but the journey of hope had only just begun.